Hello guys. So once again, this is yours truly, Sir Kenji, and today I'm going to teach you the basic parts and functions and also the basic operators of the Microsoft Excel. So our topic for today is all about the Microsoft Excel. Okay? So what is the Microsoft Excel? Microsoft Excel is a software or program created by the Microsoft that uses spreadsheets to organize numbers and data with formulas and functions. So this is the face of a Microsoft Excel. We have the different parts and functions of this one, but there are also the parts and functions that are almost the same with the Microsoft Office and Microsoft PowerPoint that we have talked about in our previous lesson. Just like, for example, this one here is called the ribbon. Okay, and this one are all the menus that you can use. We have different kinds of menus with different purpose and functions. Okay? And this is also a quick access toolbar. If you have noticed, these are all the same parts with the Microsoft Office, Word, and Microsoft PowerPoint. So for today, we are going to talk only about the unique parts that are only or can only be seen in a Microsoft Excel. First is we are going to learn about the cell. Okay? Cell is the smallest but most powerful part of the spreadsheet. I'm going to show you the basic parts, which is we will start with the cell. The things that I'm clicking here in our screen is called cell. Inside the cell, we can always place different kinds of data, just like numbers, text, dates, currency. So it depends on what kind of data we are going to input, and every cell is unique. Why? Because every cell has its own address. Inside here, we can see the address of the cell. So currently, we are clicking the C3. Okay, this is called the address bar. Okay. Why C3? Because it falls on the row C, the column C, and the row 3. That's why if we are going to click here, we can see the C3 address. Okay? And next is we are going to learn about the worksheet. What is a worksheet? A worksheet is made up of individual cells which can contain a value, a formula, or a text. Now, this is a worksheet. Everything here in front of you is called a worksheet. This is composed of cells. So, a group of cells may contain or may create a worksheet, and every worksheet can be named. As you can see here, this worksheet is named sheet number 3. We can always right click this one, rename, and we can place different kinds of name here. Okay? It depends on what kind of name you are going to place inside your worksheet. Now, next is we are going to talk about the workbook. What is the difference between the workbook and a worksheet? The workbook is a separate file just like every other application has. So the workbook is composed of different kinds of worksheet. In short, if you are going to save this file will become a workbook. Just like, for example, here, this workbook is titled or named Introduction to Excel. Okay? So the workbook may contain one or more worksheet. Next is active cell. What is an active cell? An active cell is the currently selected cell that we are using inside the spreadsheet. Okay? So if we're going to click this one, this cell will become an active cell. What is the address of the cell? The address of this cell is D4. Why? Once again, it is located in the column D and row 4. That's why, as you can see here, its address is D4. Next, column. Okay, we're going to talk about the column and the row. The column can be found in this one. All cells that are lined vertically is called column, and all the cells that are lined horizontally is called a row. The column and the row determines the address of the cell. Next, fill handle. So the fill handle is the small dot present in the lower right corner of the active cell. As you can see here, if we are going to select these cells, you can see a little bit of dot here. Okay, and if I'm going to focus my mouse on the little dot, as you can see, my mouse pointer will change into a cross symbol, a black cross symbol. That means that your mouse pointer is already focusing on the fill handle. So you can click this one, hold, and you can always drag and drop this one using the fill handle. Okay, so what is the purpose of fill handle? For example, the one function of the fill handle is, for example, we're going to write here flower, and you want to type different kinds. Let's say you are going to write 5 more names of flower. So instead of writing 5 more names of flower, just click the fill handle, hold, and drag, and it will copy paste all the things inside the cell that you have, or maybe the data that you place inside the cell. So that is the purpose of the fill handle. Okay? So I'm going to delete this one. Next is address bar. The address bar can be found in here. Okay? If you focus here, this is the address bar. It shows the address of the cell that is being selected, or the active cell. What happens if you are going to select a lot of cells? What will be the address of this one? The address of this one, as you can see, is C2. Why C2? Because we started with the first cell, C2. We started dragging from C2 up to the different kinds of cell. Or sometimes it will change, depend on where you first click. Okay, so that is the address bar. Next is the formula bar. The formula bar is an input bar below the ribbon. As you can see, this is the ribbon. So it says there that it is below the ribbon. So this is the formula bar here. Okay, so it shows the formula that we are going to input inside the cell. Remember that not only the text, data, and dates can be placed inside the cell. We can also place a formula. Okay? Sometimes it also shows the values inside the cell. What is the difference between a value and the formula inside the cell? For example, I'm going to write 5. As you can see, the value of C3, as you can see here, this is C3, and its value is 5. Okay, so if you are going to write a formula, just like for example, 1 plus 4. Remember, if you are going to write a formula and a function, we always start with equal sign. Okay? So that the cell will read the things that you have written inside it as a formula and not as a text. Now, we are going to press the enter. As you can see, it shows here 5, but inside the formula bar, it shows equals 1 plus 4. Okay, because it shows the formula, but the value of the cell is 5. We come up with 5 using the formula 1 plus 4. Okay. Next, the ribbon. Of course, the same. Since 2007, the menus was changed into ribbon. All the things here that will pop up every time that you are going to click the different kinds of menus is called the ribbons. And of course, it is your duty and responsibility to learn the different kinds of functions of these different options inside these ribbons. But for now, we will focus on the parts and functions of the Microsoft Excel. Next, Worksheet tab. Where can we find the Worksheet tab? The Worksheet tab can be found here at the bottom. It shows all the different kinds of worksheets that you have open. Okay, so as of now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 worksheets that we open inside one workbook. Okay, so if you are going to add a worksheet, just click the plus sign here, this one. So you can click this one and another worksheet will be open. Okay, next is the status bar. As the same in Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Word, the status bar can always be located at the bottom part of the file or the application. As you can see here, our file is ready, it means that we can always edit this file. Okay? Next, the basic operators. First, we're going to talk about the arithmetic operators. So we have here the name, the operator, the meaning, and let's do some example of it. Okay? First, we have the plus sign with this symbol or operator, which means addition. So we're going to do this one. So as what I have said a while ago, every time that we're going to create a formula, let's start with an equal symbol. Why? So that the Microsoft Excel will identify it as a formula and not a text. Okay? So for example, we have 2 plus 2, enter, we have 4. Now let's do the minus sign, which is a subtraction or negation. Example, equal sign, 2 minus 2, we have, of course, a 0 value. Next is we have the multiplication, okay, with the asterisk as its operator. So every time that we will be multiplicating a value, we will do the asterisk. So equal symbol 2 multiplied by 2, and we have 4. Next is division, which is we have a operator with a forward slash. So we'll do this one, equals 2 divided by 2. Of course, we have 1. Okay. Next is the percentage symbol. Okay. So percentage symbol, we will do this one, equals, for example, 20, or let's say 10%. Hit enter, and we come up with a 0.1. Sometimes, class, you have to modify the format of each cell in order to come up with a 0.1. If you want to format this one, you just right click the cell and go to format cells. As you can see here, the settings for this cell is number with a decimal place of 1. If we're going to change this one into decimal of 2, and we will press the OK, as you can see here, it will become 0.10. Next, we'll do the exponentiation, or it is commonly known as in the power of in your mathematics. Okay? So we're going to do this one, equals 2 in the power of, or let's say in the exponentiation of 2. Okay? Hit enter. So we have a value of 4. So these are the most basic and the most common arithmetic operators that we will be using in the rest of our lesson. Okay? Next is the comparison or the comparison operators. When we say comparison operators, these are the operators that we are using in order to compare the different kinds of values inside the cell. So as an example, we have here G3 with the value of 5 and H3 with the value of 10. Why G3? Once again, because it is in the column of G and it is in the row 3. Okay, the same with H and row 3. So the value of G3 is 5 and the value of H3 is 10. So as you can see here, we have the name, the operators, the meaning, and we have an example. So we will do the example and we will see the result. Okay, the equal sign. So how are we going to do that one? So for example, H3 equals to I3. So we'll change this one. We're going to insert a column here so that it will become H. Ayan. Okay, H and I. So we are now in H and I because we add a column. Okay, so H3 is equals to I3. So how are we going to do that one? We are just going to add an equal sign. Okay, so always start with an equal sign every time you will do a formula, so that the Microsoft Excel will identify that one as a formula and not just a text, just like this one. Okay, so if we are going to add an equals sign, H3 is equals to I3. Then as you can see, it highlighted the H3. The color of your text became blue and red, and the two boxes here are being selected because we started with an equal sign. Compared to this one, we did not start with an equal sign. So the Microsoft Excel just read all this one, or this text as the value as a text. But this time, it read this one as a formula. Why? Because we started a equal symbol. So if we hit enter, it says here false. Why? Because 5 is not equals to 10. Next, we will do the greater symbol, greater than sign with the operator of this one. H3 greater than I3. Hit enter, and the answer is false, of course, because 5 is not greater than 10. Next, we will do the less than sign. Equals H3 less than I3. Hit enter. The answer is false, of course, because 5 is less than 10. Next is we will do the greater than or equal symbol, equal sign. Equals H3 greater than or equal to I3. Hit enter, and the answer is false. Okay, and of course, next is the less than or equal symbol or sign. Equals H3 less than or equal to I3. Hit enter, and the answer is true. Okay, because it is less than or equal to, but the 5 is less than or equal to 10. Next, if we are going to write a not equal symbol, we are going to use this one. Okay, how we're going to do that one? Equals H3 not equal to I3, and if we hit enter, we come up with true result because 5 is not equals to 10. So these are the basic operators when it comes to comparison or comparing different kinds of values inside the cell. Okay, so next is we're going to talk about the concatenation operator. So this is the concatenation operator. We have only one, which is the ampersand with the symbol of this one. What is the meaning or the purpose of this one? It is to produce one continuous text values. For example, we have here the east and west. So how are we going to write this one? We will start with also equals symbol. So you are going to write this one inside a close and open quotation mark. East and quotation mark again, west, close quotation mark, and hit enter. As you can see, it combined the two words, the east and the west. Okay, so for example, you want to place a space in between the word east and west. So just double click this one in order to see the formula. Remember, if you want to see the formula, in order for you to edit the formula, just double click the cell. Okay, so east, and you are going to place a space. So just place another quotation mark, then space, then quotation mark, then write again the ampersand symbol. So east space west. Just see, hit enter, and as you can see there, the east have already space before the word west. Okay, so once again, if you want to see the formula, just double click that one so that you can see the formula, and if you want to edit that one, you can also edit it. Okay, now let us proceed with the reference operator. We are going only to discuss the three most common operators that we'll be using in our next or our future topics in Microsoft Excel. We have only the colon, the comma, and the space. We have the symbols as their operator, and these are the meaning. Okay, so first is the colon. So how are we going to use that one? So for example, we are going to add the different kinds of values here. As you can see here, we created a sample value, the F3, F4, G3, and G4 with the values of 5, 2, 10, and 4. Okay, so for example, equals, we start again with an equal symbol, sum. The word sum, this is a function. So in our next video, we will be discussing the different kinds of function. So for now, just disregard the word sum. We are just going to show you how the range operator works. Okay, sum, you select the cell, the first cell, which is the F3 colon up to G3, close parenthesis, hit enter. As you can see here, we have the value of, or we have the result of 15. Why? Because we use the range operator, which is the colon. It adds the value of the F3 going to the G3. So if you have a lot of cell to be selected, just for example F3 going wards to G100, so the colon is very effective way to add all the values in those cells, so that you are not going to write every cell here inside the parentheses. Just use the colon operator. Okay, so now next we have the comma as a union operator. The union operator, it serves as combining the two values into one. How are we going to use that one? For example, equals sum, open parenthesis. So we are going to add this one, okay, F3 to G3, comma, then F4 to G4, close parenthesis, then hit enter. Then we come up with a total of 25. Why 25? Because first it adds the F3 to G3, which is 15. Then it adds the F4 to G4, which is 6. So 15 plus 6, it equals to 21. Okay, so that's the purpose of union operator. It combines the two references into one. Last is the space. The space, it serves as intersection operators. It means it is going to give you the values where the two reference met. Okay, for example, equals sum F3 to G3 space F3 to F4, close. Okay, then we're going to hit enter. As you can see here, the value is 5. Why 5? Because the two ranges, which is the F3 and G3 and F3 to F4, met in the intersection of 5. Okay, that's why when you hit enter, it will give you the result of 5, because we selected this one. Okay, then we selected this one, which are the two references, and their intersection is the value 5, which is the F3. That's why the result here is number 5, or the value 5. Okay, so that is for our different kinds of operators that we can use. We discussed already the arithmetic operators, the comparison operators, the concatenation operators, and lastly we have the reference operators. So in the long process of learning the Microsoft Excel, these operators, together with the different kinds or the basic values, the parts and functions of the Microsoft Excel, are all essentials in order for us to manipulate and use the Microsoft Excel effectively. I hope that you have learned something in our discussion for today. This is yours truly, Sir Kenji. See you again in our next video, next lesson, and next learning. Goodbye, and God bless everyone.